Commander Jarek Thorne had seen a lot in his years of exploring the outer edges of the galaxy. He had faced asteroid storms that could tear ships apart, fought against space pirates, and navigated through the wreckage of lost colonies. But nothing had prepared him for what he found drifting in the silent void of Sector 42B. The radar first showed a faint blip, a tiny signal almost invisible against the backdrop of distant stars. At first, Jarek assumed it was debris, another piece of rock torn from the asteroid belt. But as the ship drew closer, he saw a figure tangled in the remnants of a broken escape pod. She was small, fragile-looking, and motionless. "Life signs are faint," his science officer reported, her voice steady but tight with concern. "Human or alien? I can't tell from this distance." Jarek's instincts kicked in. The ship slowed and he activated the grappling beam. Through the viewport, he could see her hair drifting weightlessly, her body slumped against the shattered pod like a delicate sculpture. Something about her, though, made him hesitate. He had rescued many people in his life, but this was different. He gave the order, and the mechanical arms reached out to pull her aboard. As the pod clattered into the cargo bay, Jarek hurried down the corridor, his boots echoing against the metal floor. He had expected someone injured, yes, but not this level of stillness. Her chest rose and fell faintly, but there was a subtle aura around her that even the sensors seemed unable to measure. It was as if the stars themselves had paused to watch. They placed her on a medical table, and the crew worked quickly to stabilize her. She had several minor cuts and bruises, a fractured arm, and a faint burn across her side, likely from the pod's failing power cells. Despite the injuries, her calmness was striking. Even unconscious, she seemed aware. "Commander," the medic said, shaking her head in disbelief. "I've never seen anything like this. Her vitals are normal in a way that doesn't make sense. It's almost like she's protected." Jarek frowned, studying her carefully. He had been trained to rely on data, not feelings. But sometimes instincts could see what sensors could not. Something about her seemed beyond ordinary human limits. He brushed a strand of hair from her face and noticed the faintest shimmer in her eyes, like the reflection of distant galaxies. "She's not just another refugee," he muttered under his breath. The thought alone made his pulse quicken. Whoever she was, she belonged to a world far beyond his understanding. The ship's alarm suddenly rang, jarring the quiet. "Commander!" "Sensors are picking up an unknown vessel approaching fast. Signature is unusual," the navigation officer reported. Jarek's eyes narrowed. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Get her out of the cargo bay and secure the med unit. If this ship is after her, we're not going down without a fight." As the crew scrambled, the girl's eyes fluttered open. They were a piercing shade of silver, and they seemed to see right through him. She took a shallow breath and whispered a single word. "Hurry." Jarek felt a chill. It wasn't fear, it was authority. Even though she was injured and alone, her voice carried a weight that made the ship seem smaller, the stars closer and danger sharper. "All right," he said, turning to his crew. "We protect her no matter what. This girl, she's important. I don't know how, but I'll find out." The alien ship appeared as a shadow against the distant glow of a nearby star. It moved with purpose, like a predator hunting its prey. Jarek ordered a sudden change in trajectory, weaving through a dense asteroid field. The small ship responded with impressive agility, narrowly avoiding collisions with massive rocks. Through it all, the girl remained calm. She reached out with one hand, and Jarek felt an almost magnetic pull in her gesture, as if she were reading the ship's systems with her mind. The medics whispered in disbelief, noting that her vitals remained steady despite the growing turbulence and the crew's rising tension. Minutes passed, like hours. Jarek had led countless rescues, but he had never felt this kind of connection. This sense that someone could change everything with just their presence. Every movement she made seemed deliberate, precise, and full of purpose, even though she was barely conscious. Finally, the enemy ship retreated, unable to match Jarek's unpredictable maneuvers. The tension aboard the ship eased, but no one dared speak for a moment. The girl's hand fell to her side, and she looked at Jarek with something that was almost a smile. It was the faintest curve, yet it carried hope, gratitude, and a promise that the universe had far more in store than any of them could imagine. Jarek sat back in the command chair, exhausted but alert. He had rescued her, yes, but he now understood that this was only the beginning. The girl in his arms was not just another survivor. She was something far greater, something that could change the fate of the stars themselves. And somehow, He knew he would follow her anywhere, even into the heart of danger, because the universe had just handed humanity a chance to shine brighter than ever before. The hum of the ship's engines filled the cargo bay as the crew worked quietly, keeping an eye on the girl who still lay on the medical table. Yarrick sat nearby, his hands folded, watching her every movement. Even in silence, there was a sense of power in her presence, subtle but undeniable. She seemed small and fragile, but he felt that she carried more than just her injuries. The girl's eyes opened again, this time more steadily. She scanned the room slowly, taking in the crew, the ship, and finally Jarek. Her gaze was sharp, intelligent, and commanding, as though she were calculating everything at once. "Where am I?" she asked, her voice soft but clear. There was no fear in it, only curiosity. "You're safe," Jarek replied. "You're aboard the Orion's shield. We found you drifting near an asteroid in Sector 42B. Do you remember what happened?" She paused, struggling slightly to sit up. I was attacked," she said, her voice trembling just enough to reveal the strain in her body. "I don't know why they left me alive," Jarek frowned. "You were alone? Do you have family, friends, anyone we should contact?" She shook her head, her hair falling around her face like a curtain. "No one. I am alone in a way that matters." Her words sent a ripple through the crew. Even the hardened officers felt a strange unease. There was something about her that went beyond survival instinct. She seemed important, though they could not yet understand why. The medic moved closer, checking her vitals again. "Her injuries are healing faster than they should," she said quietly. "It's not normal. Her body, it's almost like it's adjusting to the ship's environment itself." Jarek nodded slowly. He had seen many things in his life, but he had never encountered anyone or anything that radiated this kind of presence. "You're not just any traveler," he said. "There's more to you than you're telling us." "I don't know what it is yet, but I intend to find out." The girl studied him for a long moment, and then something in her expression shifted. She leaned forward slightly and whispered, "I am not what you think. My people, they are spread across the galaxy, and now they are in danger." The words made the crew tense. Yarrick's mind raced. "Danger? Who is after you?" She hesitated, then said, "Enemies. But not all enemies wear armor or carry weapons. Some hide in shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. I was a target because I hold something they cannot touch without risking everything." Jarek felt a chill run down his spine. "Something only you hold?" She nodded. "Yes, and it is why I could not be saved by anyone else. Only humans. Only you could find me and bring me back." The crew exchanged nervous glances. Humans had long been underestimated in the galaxy. Other civilizations often laughed at their small fleets, their limited technology, their reliance on instinct. But somehow she believed in them. That belief was empowering. Jarek felt a surge of pride. "Then we'll protect you," he said firmly. "No matter what, we will not let them take you." The girl looked at him with a faint smile. It was brief, but it carried warmth. "You have courage," she said. "Something rare. Something I have not seen often among the stars. Humans. You fight even when the odds are against you. You survive because you refuse to give up." The compliment made Jarek shift uncomfortably. He was used to praise for victories, but this was different. She was recognizing something deeper, the human spirit itself. Outside, the radar blinked with another faint signal. Yarek's hand hovered over the console. "I don't like this," he muttered. "Someone, or something, is still following us." The girl's eyes narrowed, and she reached out as if to touch the radar screen, though her hand hovered just above it. "They are close," she said. "Closer than you know. If we do not act soon, we will be trapped." Jarek straightened. "Then we act. Tell me what we need to do." She paused, looking at the crew, then at him. "I need to reach my people. They can fight back, but only if I reach them alive. Your crew will help me. You must trust your instincts and your strength." "That is what humans do best," he nodded. "We do. We never give up. And we never leave anyone behind." For a moment, the quiet hum of the ship filled the room again. Outside, the stars continued to drift, but now they seemed to carry a new weight. The girl on the medical table was more than a survivor. She was a leader, a symbol, a force that could change the course of the galaxy. And for the first time, Jarek realized that humans, with all their flaws and simplicity, were exactly what the galaxy needed. The girl closed her eyes, recovering her strength. Jarek and his crew worked in silence, preparing the ship for the journey ahead. Every human touch, every adjustment of the controls, every careful step in the cargo bay felt purposeful. They were no longer just explorers, they were guardians of something extraordinary. Jarek watched her, feeling a quiet determination settle in his chest. This mission was no longer just about survival. It was about proving what humans could do when faced with impossible odds. And he knew, deep in his bones, that the story of this girl and the humans who protected her was only beginning. Outside, the stars waited. And humanity, small and unassuming, was ready to shine. The Orion's shield cut through the black of space, its hull shimmering faintly as it dodged the glimmering debris of the asteroid belt. Jarek Thorne stood at the command console, his eyes scanning the blinking radar for any sign of the ship that had followed them. The girl, still weak but steadily recovering, sat nearby in a reinforced chair, watching the stars pass by with an intensity that made even seasoned crew members uneasy. "Commander," the navigation officer said, voice tense, "the unidentified vessel is closing in fast. They're moving in ways that don't match any known alien technology." Jarek's jaw tightened. Whatever they are, they're after her. We need to keep the ship agile and stay ahead. Crew, prepare for evasive maneuvers. The girl's silver eyes met his, calm and unwavering. "They cannot predict humans," she said softly, almost like a warning. "They follow patterns, rules, and strategies. You do not use that. Turn their certainty into their weakness," Jarek nodded, trusting his instincts. Humans were unpredictable, flexible, and inventive. That unpredictability had saved countless lives before. Now it might save her. The enemy ship appeared suddenly on the main screen, sleek and angular, its surface shimmering with a strange energy field. It moved as if alive, adjusting instantly to every course change the Orion's shield made. The crew held their breath as the vessel fired a warning shot, a bright flash of energy that streaked past the ship, leaving a sizzling trail in the vacuum. "Evasive maneuvers," Jarek shouted. "Full thrusters, all wings extended. Keep them off balance." The ship twisted through the asteroid field, narrowly avoiding massive rocks that could have crushed them in an instant. Every movement was dangerous, yet every move revealed the brilliance of human improvisation. Jarek's crew worked in perfect sync, anticipating one another, trusting their instincts, and adjusting faster than any AI system could. From her chair, the girl watched quietly, almost like she was studying a complex puzzle. "Yes," she whispered, "they are clever. But cleverness is only useful if it is focused. Scatter their focus, force them to overreach." Jarek took her words as guidance. "Crew, split their attention. Launch decoy drones. They'll think we're vulnerable. Then we strike in a direction they do not expect." The crew moved quickly, releasing small drones that mimicked the ship's energy signature. The enemy vessel hesitated, torn between pursuing the real ship and targeting the drones. That hesitation was all Jarek needed. He twisted the Orion's shield sharply, weaving through the asteroids with lightning speed. The enemy fired again, but the blasts struck rocks instead of the hull. For the first time, a cheer went up from the crew. Humans were small, limited, and underestimated. But here, in the dark of space, their creativity and courage turned the impossible into reality. The girl leaned forward, her hand hovering above a console. "You are doing well," she said, almost approvingly. "But they will not stop. Prepare for more." Jarek wiped sweat from his brow. "We're ready. Whatever comes, we can handle it." Minutes stretched into tense hours. The enemy ship adapted, changing its approach, but every new tactic was met with human ingenuity. They used the environment, manipulated sensors, and exploited the unpredictability that made humans different from any other species in the galaxy. Finally, the enemy ship retreated, its energy signature fading into the distance. The crew exhaled collectively, relief washing over them like a sudden wave. But Jarek knew better. Victory in the moment did not mean safety. The girl turned her head to him. "You see now why I trust humans," she said quietly. "You do not follow patterns. You do not accept limits. That is what I need, not just for me, but for all who rely on me." Jarek felt a surge of pride. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries, labeling them as weak, simple, and primitive. But here they were, proving that courage, intelligence, and unity could outmatch even the most advanced technology. He nodded slowly. "We'll keep you safe. No matter what comes, we will not fail." Outside the viewport, the stars shimmered like distant fires. The asteroid belt, once threatening, now seemed like an ally. The girl's presence infused the ship with purpose, and the crew moved with renewed determination. Every calculation, every adjustment, every decision carried the weight of their mission: protect her, survive, and prepare for what lay ahead. The girl's voice broke the quiet. There are more challenges coming. Forces that will not hesitate to destroy anyone in their path. You must be ready. Jarek met her gaze. We will be ready. Humans don't quit. We adapt, we fight, and we protect. That is what makes us strong. She nodded, a faint smile appearing on her lips. Then perhaps there is hope. Perhaps your kind is exactly what the galaxy needs. The crew exchanged glances, a quiet pride settling over them. They were ordinary humans, far from the powerful empires that ruled distant stars. Yet in this moment they were extraordinary. They had saved someone who could change the galaxy. And in doing so, they had proven the truth of what she had said. Humans, with all their flaws, had a strength no one else could match. Jarek leaned back in his chair, watching the stars streak past. The enemy was still out there waiting, but he did not feel fear. With the girl in their care, and the ingenuity of humanity guiding them, he knew they could face anything. The journey was far from over, and the galaxy was full of dangers. But for the first time, Jarek understood that humans, small and underestimated, had a place among the stars, and that place was not just survival. It was victory. The Orion's shield had left the asteroid field far behind, gliding through empty space like a silent guardian. The girl, still wrapped in the blankets from the medical bay, sat quietly, her silver eyes fixed on the distant stars. Jarek Thorne observed her carefully, knowing that the quiet moments were often the most revealing. Finally, she spoke, her voice calm but filled with authority. You need to know the truth. Jarek leaned forward. Then tell me, who are you really? She hesitated for a moment, as if measuring the weight of the words she was about to speak. Then she sat up straighter, her gaze steady. I am Leora, she said. Leora, Queen of the Galaxy. The words hung in the air, heavy and impossible. Jarek blinked, unsure if he had heard correctly. Queen of the Galaxy? He repeated slowly. You mean, like a ruler of all the systems? She nodded. Yes. I am the heir to a throne that spans countless worlds, civilizations, and species. And I was targeted because my enemies sought to destabilize the entire galaxy. The crew, who had been quietly listening, exchanged stunned glances. Even seasoned explorers like Jarek had rarely encountered someone with such power and influence. The reality of her words pressed on him like gravity, and yet he found it hard to feel intimidated. You trust us? Jarek asked, still cautious. After all that's happened, why trust a small crew of humans? Leora's eyes softened slightly. Because I have seen the galaxy. I have studied countless species, and I have watched civilizations rise and fall. Humans are different. You are limited, yes, but your courage, your ingenuity, your refusal to accept the impossible, that is rare. That is why I trust you. Jarek felt a surge of pride, though he tried to hide it. Humans had long been underestimated, dismissed as weak or chaotic. Yet here, in the void of space, they had proven themselves capable of things far beyond what anyone expected. You were attacked, he said slowly, piecing together the story. Your ship, the ambush, it wasn't random. Someone wanted you gone. She nodded. Yes, my enemies knew I could not be defeated by force alone. They underestimated humans, thinking no ordinary crew could save me. They were wrong. The crew was silent, absorbing the weight of her words. They had rescued her, protected her, and outmaneuvered enemies far more advanced than themselves. And now they realized the magnitude of what they had done. They had saved the most powerful person in the galaxy. Jarek's mind raced. So what happens now? He asked. If you are the queen, your enemies will come after you again. And if they find you unprotected, they will fail, Leora interrupted, her voice firm and unwavering. Because I now have allies who are willing to fight, to think, to adapt. You, Jarek Thorne, and your crew are more than ordinary humans. You are the ones who can change the outcome of battles I could not win alone. A quiet murmur ran through the crew. Even those who had long served in the Outer Rim felt a new sense of purpose. They were no longer just explorers or survivors, they were guardians of some. One who could shape the fate of countless worlds. Leora's gaze shifted, sweeping over each crew member in turn. There will be challenges, she said. forces that will not hesitate to destroy anyone in their path. You must understand that this journey is dangerous, but I have faith in humans. You will find ways to survive, ways to outsmart, ways to protect. Jarek straightened, determination settling over him like armor. We've done it once. We can do it again. No one on this ship leaves anyone behind. That's how humans survive, and that's how we fight. Leora allowed herself a small, almost imperceptible smile. Then you understand why I am here with you. Not just for my survival, but for the survival of the galaxy. And you will be part of it. The crew felt the weight of their new mission settle upon them. They had thought they were protecting a wounded girl. Now they understood they were protecting a queen. A symbol of unity and hope for billions of beings across the stars. Outside the viewport, the stars seemed brighter, sharper, as though the universe itself acknowledged the importance of this moment. Jarek looked at Leora, studying her calm determination, and realized that she was not fragile or helpless. She was a leader even in her weakened state, and she had the power to inspire everyone around her. Leora leaned back slightly, closing her eyes for a brief moment. "We will need to reach my loyal forces," she said softly. "They have been waiting and they will fight. But without humans to guide us through the dangers ahead, many will not survive." Jarek's hands gripped the armrests of his chair. "Then we'll guide you. We'll do whatever it takes. Humans don't quit. We adapt, we fight, and we survive." She opened her eyes, and this time her smile was unmistakable. "Then perhaps there is hope for the galaxy after all. Perhaps humans are exactly what I needed." The Orion's shield glided on, carrying a queen, her crew, and the weight of a mission that could change the fate of countless worlds. For the first time, Jarek realized that the small, underestimated humans of the Outer Rim were capable of extraordinary deeds. And with Leora's trust, they would prove that courage, intelligence, and unity could outshine even the most powerful enemies in the galaxy. The Orion's shield moved through the quiet expanse of space, but silence was deceptive. Every sensor on the ship was active, every crew member alert. Leora, now fully recovered, stood near the command console, studying a holographic map of the galaxy. Planets, star systems, and fleets were marked in glowing lines, and Jarek leaned over her shoulder trying to follow her complex calculations. "We have to move carefully," Leora said, her tone calm but urgent. "The traitorous generals who betrayed me control several key outposts. If we rush in without a plan, they will strike first." Jarek nodded. "We've faced worse odds before. Humans can think fast, adapt faster, and improvise in ways no one expects. We'll use that." The crew worked together, checking weapon systems, adjusting shields, and plotting potential routes through contested space. Even though they were humans, outnumbered, underpowered, and underestimated, they moved with confidence. Their small fleet might seem insignificant to the galaxy's powerful factions, but Jarek knew that ingenuity and teamwork often outweighed size and firepower. Leora tapped a sequence into the holographic console, and a new route lit up. "We strike here first," she said, pointing to a cluster of strategically positioned outposts. "It will be risky, but the element of surprise is on our side." The crew exchanged determined looks. They had already risked their lives to save her once. Now they would help her reclaim her throne and restore order to the galaxy. The first outpost appeared on the view screen, a fortress-like structure orbiting a barren planet. Enemy patrols surrounded it, and energy shields glimmered with a soft, threatening glow. Jarek clenched his fists. "We do this smart," he said. "Drones, diversion, and careful timing. That's how humans win against odds that seem impossible." Leora nodded approvingly. "Yes, use your unpredictability. They expect conventional strategies, but humans, you think differently. That will be our advantage." As they approached, the crew deployed a series of drones that mimicked the ship's energy signature. The enemy detected them and fired, but the shots were wasted on decoys. Taking advantage of the confusion, the Orion's shield slipped closer, weaving through the patrols and asteroids with precise maneuvers. Inside the outpost, Leora's loyal forces were hiding, awaiting her arrival. She had trained them to act with discipline and skill, but they needed guidance. Jarek and the crew would provide it, not by leading them directly, but by showing the flexibility and courage that humans excel at. The attack began with a series of synchronized strikes. Humans and loyalists moved together, exploiting gaps in the enemy's defenses. The crew of the Orion's shield demonstrated ingenuity at every turn, using the environment to their advantage, creating diversions, and anticipating enemy reactions before they occurred. Leora directed her forces with precision, issuing orders that were efficient, clear, and confident. The combination of human improvisation and her strategic brilliance was unstoppable. Slowly, outpost by outpost, they reclaimed territory, each victory strengthening morale and striking fear into the traitorous generals' hearts. During a particularly tense moment, one of the enemy ships cornered the Orion's shield near a massive asteroid. It fired a concentrated energy beam, threatening to breach the hull. Yarrick acted quickly, calculating a risky maneuver that sent the ship spiraling around the asteroid, dodging the beam and launching countermeasures. The enemy was caught off guard, and the humans gained the upper hand once again. Leora watched silently, impressed. "Your kind," she whispered, "never underestimates the small details. That is what makes you powerful." The crew, exhausted but exhilarated, celebrated quietly as the outpost fell under their control. Messages of loyalty began streaming in from distant systems, recognizing Leora as the rightful queen once more. The galaxy was beginning to take notice. Humans, with their courage and quick thinking, had turned the tide. Jarek felt a quiet pride. He had always known humanity was strong, but now, seeing the impact of their actions on a galactic scale, he understood the truth. Humans were more than explorers or soldiers. They were innovators, fighters, and protectors who could achieve the impossible. Leora approached him, placing a hand lightly on his shoulder. "We still have a long journey ahead," she said. "But today we have proven something important. Humans are not just survivors. You are heroes. And heroes change history." Jarek nodded. "We'll see this through, Queen. No matter what comes next, we'll protect you and your people." The stars stretched endlessly outside the ship's viewport, each one a reminder of the battles yet to come, the allies yet to be found, and the dangers still lurking in the galaxy. But for the first time, the crew felt a deep sense of purpose. They were part of something larger than themselves, something that could change the fate of countless worlds. And as Leora and the humans prepared for the next phase of their campaign, one thing was clear. When courage, intelligence, and the human spirit came together, even the most powerful enemies could be challenged, and even the darkest corners of the galaxy could see the light of hope. The galaxy seemed to hold its breath as the Orion's shield and Leora's fleet approached the final stronghold of the traitorous generals. The enemy armada stretched across space like a dark ribbon, massive warships bristling with energy cannons and shields that shimmered menacingly. The crew of the Orion's shield felt the tension, but they did not waver. Humans had always been underestimated, and now they were ready to prove just how powerful that unpredictability could be. Jarek Thorne stood at the command console, eyes scanning every movement. "This is it," he said quietly. "We fight smart. We fight together. And we don't back down." Leora stood beside him, her silver eyes calm but focused. "Remember, they rely on rigid plans and strict rules. Humans are flexible, use that. Turn their certainty into their weakness." The crew nodded. They had faced impossible odds before, but this battle was the largest and most dangerous yet. Every decision mattered. Every maneuver could mean victory or total destruction. The battle began with a sudden volley of energy blasts from the enemy. Shields flared across Leora's fleet, but the humans had prepared carefully. Drones and decoys darted across the battlefield, creating confusion and splitting the enemy's focus. Yarrick guided the Orion's shield through the chaos, weaving between massive warships and asteroid fragments with incredible precision. One of the enemy's flagship vessels targeted them directly, firing a concentrated beam that could have torn the ship apart. Yarrick acted instinctively, twisting the controls and launching countermeasures that reflected the energy back toward the enemy. The blast struck the flagship, disabling several weapon systems and causing a ripple of shock across the enemy ranks. Leora's voice came over the comms, clear and commanding. "Strike now. Hit their weak points. Focus on their leadership ships." Humans and Leora's loyal forces moved in perfect synchronization. The humans' ability to adapt, improvise, and take risks without waiting for orders gave them an edge that the rigid enemy fleet could not match. Every bold move was met with a calculated counter, and every counter was turned into an advantage by human ingenuity. In the middle of the battle, an enemy squadron attempted a flanking maneuver, hoping to trap the Orion's shield. Yarrick quickly assessed the situation. "Crew, follow my lead. We'll use their momentum against them." With a daring spin through a dense asteroid field, the ship dodged enemy fire and drew the squadron into a trap. Leora's forces fired in unison, and the enemy ships were disabled, their systems overloaded by the humans' unpredictable tactics. The enemy generals, watching the chaos unfold, realized too late that they had underestimated humans. Their armies were organized, powerful, and disciplined, but they were not prepared for the courage, flexibility, and quick thinking that humans displayed under pressure. Hours passed like minutes. Energy blasts streaked across space. Explosions lit the void, and the Orion's shield moved tirelessly, every crew member performing at the peak of their ability. Despite exhaustion, fear, and danger, they pressed forward. Humans had never relied on sheer numbers or technology alone. They relied on creativity, teamwork, and spirit. Finally, the last enemy flagship lay in ruins, its command systems destroyed. The remaining ships surrendered or retreated, unable to counter the human-led offensive. Leora's loyal forces cheered, their victory complete. The traitorous generals had been defeated, and the galaxy had witnessed the power of humans working alongside a queen whose strength inspired loyalty across countless worlds. Jarek exhaled, finally allowing himself a moment of relief. "We did it," he said quietly, though his voice carried awe. "Humans, we did it." Leora approached him, her expression serious but full of gratitude. "You and your crew have proven something important today. Humans are not just survivors. You are leaders, innovators, and protectors. The galaxy will remember this day." Jarek felt a quiet pride. For years, humans had been underestimated, dismissed as weak, unrefined, or chaotic. But in this battle, they had shown that courage, intelligence, and unity could triumph over even the most powerful enemies. Outside the viewport, stars glimmered peacefully, as if celebrating the victory. The danger had passed for now, and the galaxy's future had been shaped not only by the Queen but by the humans who had stood beside her. Leora looked at the crew, her eyes softening. "There will still be challenges ahead," she said, "but today we have shown that humans, small and underestimated, can change the course of history. You have my trust, my respect, and my gratitude." Jarek nodded, feeling the weight of their achievement settle. "We'll continue to protect you. Humans never quit, and we never leave anyone behind. We've seen what we can do together, and this is only the beginning." The stars stretched endlessly outside, calm after the storm. For the first time, the crew of the Orion's shield felt the full weight of their potential. Humans, with all their flaws and limitations, had accomplished what countless others thought impossible. They had saved a queen, defeated a massive enemy fleet, and proven that courage and ingenuity were forces even the galaxy could not ignore. And as the Orion's shield sailed through the quiet expanse of space, Yarrick knew one truth, the story of humans. Leora and the galaxy had only just begun, and their future was as limitless as the stars themselves. The galaxy seemed calm, but Jarek Thorne knew better. The final battle was over, the traitorous generals defeated, yet the future remained uncertain. Leora, now fully restored to her throne, sat in her command seat aboard the flagship, her silver eyes scanning the stars as if reading secrets hidden in their light. Jarek and his crew were nearby, watching, waiting, ready to act. "We've won the war," Leora said softly, her voice carrying a mixture of relief and determination. "But peace is fragile. There are still threats, hidden forces that will not forgive what we've done." Jarek nodded. "Humans never back down. We've fought impossible odds before. If anyone tries to threaten you or your people, we'll face them head-on. That's what we do." A murmur of agreement ran through the crew. They were tired, their bodies sore from battle, but their spirits were unbroken. Every one of them knew they had changed the galaxy, not through brute strength, but through courage, ingenuity, and the refusal to give up. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, glittering like distant fires. Fleets from other systems began sending messages of loyalty and alliance. Many civilizations had watched the conflict from afar, expecting a quick victory for the traitors. Instead, they had witnessed humans, underestimated and small, outsmarting and outmaneuvering a far superior force. Leora stood, moving to the observation deck. Yarrick followed, sensing that this moment was more than just a victory. It was the beginning of a new era. She gazed at the stars, her expression thoughtful. "The galaxy will not forget today," she said. "And neither will I. Humans, You are more than I imagined. You have courage, loyalty, and strength that even the greatest powers envy. Jarek felt a quiet pride. Humans had always been underestimated, but now their place in the galaxy was clear. They were not just survivors. They were innovators, protectors, and heroes capable of shaping the fate of countless worlds. A communication signal blinked on the console, drawing their attention. It was from one of Leora's distant loyalists, confirming that key systems were now secure. Another signal followed, this one from a previously neutral planet offering alliance and support. The galaxy was waking up to a new reality. The Queen was back, and she had humans by her side. Leora turned to Jarek. I will need humans not only for battles but for guidance, for decisions that require adaptability and creativity. Your kind, your perspective, it is rare and invaluable. Jarek smiled faintly. We'll stand by you. We've seen what humans can do when it matters. Together we can face anything. The Queen's lips curved into a small, approving smile. Then let this be a beginning, she said. The galaxy is vast and dangers still exist, but with humans as allies I have hope, and hope can inspire even the darkest corners of the universe. The crew exchanged quiet looks, a sense of unity and purpose settling over them. They had started this journey as a small crew of explorers, risking their lives to save a wounded girl. Now they had helped restore a queen to her throne, reshaping the galaxy with courage and ingenuity. Jarek walked to the deck, staring into the infinite blackness beyond the hull. He thought about the battles, the near misses, the clever maneuvers, and the moments when everything seemed impossible. Humanity had won not because of technology or numbers, but because they never stopped thinking, adapting, and fighting. Leora stood beside him. There will be others, she said. Enemies who hide, spies who deceive, challenges no one has faced before. But humans, you have shown that ordinary beings can achieve extraordinary things. That is why I trust you. Jarek nodded, feeling the weight of her words. Humans were small in the galaxy's grand scale, but they had the heart and mind to make a difference, and now they had proven it. The stars shimmered like distant lanterns, illuminating the deck with their cold, steady light. Leora's hand brushed lightly against Jarek's shoulder. Together we will build a future, she said. A future where courage, loyalty, and intelligence shape the galaxy, not fear or tyranny. Jarek smiled, a mixture of pride and determination filling him. Then we start now. Humans never quit and we never back down. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together. The crew of the Orion's shield gathered behind him, silent but strong, a symbol of what humanity could achieve when united with purpose. The Queen of the Galaxy stood among them, restored, empowered, and trusting in the very humans she had saved. And as the stars stretched endlessly before them, shining across countless systems, one truth became clear. Humans had carved a place among the stars. They had fought, they had survived, and they had changed the galaxy. And now, with courage in their hearts and hope in their hands, they were ready for whatever adventures the universe would bring next. The galaxy was vast, the challenges endless. But humanity had proven one thing. When ordinary humans rise to extraordinary circumstances, there is nothing they cannot achieve. And in the company of a queen, humanity's story had only just begun.